Ladies and gentlemen, Capital One is one of five banks that are being accused of inaction on discrimination, and they are not allowed right now to take new deposits. New York City is taking its business away from banks that lack anti discrimination plans. Following the first ever public hearing held in the New York City Banking Commission yesterday, all three members voted to limit deposits at Capital One, the ninth biggest bank in the US, and Key Bank. Authorities allege the two banks not only failed to submit required plans demonstrating their efforts to root out discrimination, but also outright refused to submit required documents, according to the press release. As a result, New York City Comptroller Brad Lander joined the mayor's office and the Department of Finance in freezing new accounts at the bank. The halt applies only for city agency funds and not New York City residents. The latest actions is the result of new requirements introduced in February that assesses bank commitments to non discriminatory practices in lending, employment, and other services. So they're demanding fairness from banks. The New York City Comptroller, Brad Lander, put out a statement on May 25th, and it says banks seeking to do business with New York City must demonstrate that they will be responsible managers of public funds and responsible actors in our community. Unfortunately, despite several opportunities to do so, five banks failed to comply with the New York City Banking Commission designation process, leaving us to conclude that they are not taking meaningful action to combat discrimination in their operations and are not responsible stewards of public dollars. All right. So the banks that received approval at the first ever Banking Commission public hearing based on their non discriminatory practices and strong scrutiny for soundness in the light of recent bank failures. All of the applicants passed the soundness review, including assessing unrealized losses, uninsured deposits, capitalization, ratios of banks seeking to hold funds on the behalf of city agencies, the number of banks, including Capital One and Key Bank, that failed to comply with the designation process. The other three banks, the comptroller voted against, hold public funds, and International Finance Bank, PNC, and Wells Fargo, neither of which currently hold any city deposits. 7.2 million amounts, that is the amount of city deposits Virginia-based Capital One held at the end of April across 108 accounts. $10 million dollars is the amount that Key Bank held at the end of April across three accounts, up to 2 years. The length of the freeze on new deposits at Capital One and Key Bank. 1 year, how much longer can Capital One and Key Bank service existing contracts? At the public hearing, the commission heard testimony from a wide array of residents. Muslims, New Yorkers, they were saying that they experienced discrimination in the process of opening or closing accounts. Racism has been an issue for Black and Brown Americans trying to join the financial institutions. Tenants worry about predatory lending practices by banks that jeopardize their rights and safe living conditions. It contributed to the downfall of the now defunct Signature Bank. All right. So, a frontline bank staff that face illegal and abusive practices, people worried about the operations contributing to gun manufacturing. The public hearing issues gave rise to support for the idea of a public bank that would instead put those dollars to work in our communities. Annie Levers, the city deputy comptroller for policy, said yesterday. While New York City is featuring community reinvestment and fair credit practices in its criteria for monitoring financial institutions, some red states are doing the opposite. For instance, two in 2021 Texas bills bar state government entities from doing business with companies that discriminate against the firearms and ammunition industry, ones that prioritize environmental, social, and governance policies and boycott energy companies. In March of this year, the Texas Comptroller added HSBC to its blacklist over the bank's refusal to fund new oil and gas projects. Earlier this month, Florida governor and 2024 Republican presidency hopeful Ron DeSantis signed into law a February bill that bars big banks, trust, and other financial agencies from discriminating against customers for their religious, political, and social beliefs, including their support for securing the border, owning a firearm, and increasing their energy independence. So, ladies and gentlemen, with Ron DeSantis, it's like a whole different thing in how he sees discrimination. He sure didn't include our people with the discrimination. And, I don't know if any of you heard, but he's blocking the Chinese from buying any more property down in Florida. And I believe they're trying to come up with a lawsuit against Ron DeSantis for that. I mean, it's so much stuff going on down there, it's not even funny. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. It is so much turmoil going on around banking, it's not even funny. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.